Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody out there is having a good day, and welcome back to another edition here of Intuitive Angling. Much appreciated you guys taking a little time to watch the video. Today we're going to be talking about bright chartreuse colored lures and the times you want to use them, when they're really effective. And I think it's going to really surprise you guys. I think a lot of people have this misconception that bright chartreuse is for dirty, muddy water, but I'll probably try to bust a few myths talking about it today, so it's some pretty good info here. Real quick, just wanted to give everybody the weekly reminder. If anybody's interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, booking trips for this fall already, just shoot me a private message on my Facebook page, Randy Blockett Professional Angler, and give you guys all the details on that. Much appreciated. Okay, guys, chartreuse lures. Man, I love fishing bright chartreuse lures. I started doing it years ago. Actually, my buddy Danny Correa got me fishing real bright chartreuse spinner baits, 30 years ago for big smallmouth bass. And it's been a staple of mine, throughout my entire career. And the one thing overwhelming, guys, that I'll tell you guys about bright chartreuse lures, they catch the biggest fish of any lure that you can throw color-wise. A bright chartreuse lure attracts the most aggressive fish in the lake. And while it's not necessarily the best lure color under all conditions or to throw all day long, once you know when to throw it, generally your biggest fish are going to come on these things. So most of the time, guys, here's what we're talking about. These bright colored chartreuse lures, they come in crankbaits like this Megabass 2.0. This is the Megabass Sleeper Gill, really bright chartreuse lure. A lot of different, probably every lure out there has some type of a chartreuse or fire tiger color on it. Jerk baits, all the crankbaits, top waters, all that type of stuff. You can get them in every one. And there's a difference between a bright chartreuse like this and some type of a fire tiger or something that's got a little bit of black or something to break the chartreuse up. A lot of it, as far as when I use these things, are relative to how much chartreuse is actually on the lure. So when I'm on a pure chartreuse colored bite, when those fish are really keen on it, I want as much chartreuse as I can possibly get on the lure. So let's talk a little bit about when you want to fish this. For the most part, you're going to find out that bass bite chartreuse lures. Let's talk a little bit about water temperature and season. Bass are going to bite them when the water is a little bit on the warmer side. And I'm talking about over 65 degrees, close to 70 degrees. My favorite is like when that water temperature is sort of in between that 70 and 85 degree range, which would be springtime of the year on into mid-fall. That seems like when it works the best with that. Traditionally, a lot of people like the blackback chartreuse sides, they consider this a dirty water color. Chartreuse was initially developed for, because it's very visible to draw strikes in dirty water, and it is a great dirty water color. You can catch a lot of bass on it in off-colored water. But the thing that a lot of people don't know about chartreuse is it's one of the best super clear water baits you can fish. I'm talking about water visibility in the 10-foot range. So you can actually catch bass on the chartreuse, the bright chartreuse, in every water clarity that you have. Now, a lot of this depends on the species of bass that you have. The thing that you're going to find out is in dirty water situations, you're talking about pretty much a largemouth bite, because if you're fishing water visibilities under 12 inches, most of those situations you're not going to have many spotted bass or smallmouth bass, so it's going to be a largemouth situation. So when you're fishing for largemouth in lakes that have largemouth, chartreuse is just for that situation. But the times that the bright chartreuse works good in the clear water situations, like water visibilities of over 5 feet, is when you have a mixed species lake of largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass that is heavy on the smallmouth side. Now, the chartreuse, everybody knows that, you hear this, I don't want to say it's a myth, but you hear this talking point that bass love chartreuse, smallmouth love chartreuse. They do under certain situations, not all the time, and certain geographical regions. The times that bass like a chartreuse bait, or smallmouth bass like a chartreuse bait in clear water, is if you have a lake normally that has the northern strain of smallmouth, and also lakes that have a lot of clear water in it, like water visibilities in that 5 to 10 foot range. And the times that chartreuse works really good for smallmouth is on sunny, windy days where you have a lot of wind, or on cloudy, rainy days. A lot of people think that Clearwater smallmouth don't bite very good if it's rainy and cloudy. Guys, I have caught tons of big smallmouth when it's cloudy and rainy on bright Chartreuse lures, and also those days where it's blowing 20 miles an hour. If it's bluebird skies, they really will react to that. The thing about a Chartreuse lure is most all the time, it doesn't matter if you're fishing dirty water or clear water, you have got to be using a fairly fast retrieve, some type of a medium fast retrieve. You do not want the bass to get a good look at a bright Chartreuse lure because they're not going to bite it very well. If they get a chance to study it, obviously it's something that does not look like any type of food source in the lake. So every Chartreuse bait that I fish, I'm generally moving it pretty good, you know, fast retrieves, trying to generate that reaction strike with it. And another thing about it is you'll find out that there's windows during the day when they bite bright Chartreuse. In dirty water, a lot of times that window is right off the bat in the morning. But if you're fishing clear water with Chartreuse, those windows can be throughout the day based upon just the feeding periods of the bass. One thing that you're going to find, like we talked about, is the Chartreuse is normally not the best color to throw. What do you
So, I can't dig that thing out.
You can't? Elijah thought he found a dinosaur bone in the yard, so I got to help him with it. Okay, I'll come out and help him with it, okay? Just a second. Okay, I warm up this to get that dinosaur bone. But anyway, normally bright Chartreuse is not going to be a bait you throw all day long. It's going to be situationally. The biggest aggressive fish that are out there are going to bite this first, and usually then they'll get off of it. But it's a bait that you've got to have with you, man. There's certain situations where they're just going to bite it over any other color that you can throw. It's not a real popular color, and even though it doesn't look like anything real, there's something that it triggers within the bass's reflex system that causes them to bite it. So get you some, guys, get you a handful of bright Chartreuse lures, try them under different conditions, and just you'll be surprised how many good ones you catch on it. So talk to you guys later. See you.